Hot take, sci-fi is just a subgenre of fantasy. Fantasy at its core is just a story that includes some elements that do not or could not exist. You're thinking pirates, you're thinking magic, you're thinking dragons, wyverns. If you really dive into a lot of the popular sci-fi stories, I genuinely think you noticed a lot of fantasy elements more than you might realize. For me, I specifically saw this in Dune. I have a very specific way that I recommend reading the book of Dune, especially if you don't like denser fiction novels. And for me, I would watch Dune Part 1 of the new movies, read the book, and then watch Part 2. Part 1 tells you everything you need to know about the world and all of the science parts of it, which again are all fictional worlds. Dune is actually really close to Lord of the Rings in my opinion, due to the entire glossary at the back. If your book has to have an entire huge glossary to explain what everything is, it's probably a fantasy book. Another great example is Project Hail Mary. Andy Weir did an amazing job studying actual science to write that book, but then he adds a fantasy character, aka Rocky, who we all love. Rocky's great. The Martian is another Andy Weir story that I think people would probably argue is closer to reality. I did my research. NASA is trying to go to Mars. They are aiming for 2035 to have a person land on Mars. They are having significant issues with landing on Mars in the process of it because the atmosphere of Mars is so volatile towards human life. Maybe one day it could become more realistic. It could happen. It just hasn't happened yet, therefore it's fantasy. The difference between sci-fi and fantasy was never really about the science. It's about the aesthetic. Sci-fi will take the language of science. It'll take real equations, real jargon, anything that actually can make it seem credible. But it's all just fantasy. If you strip Dune, Project Hail Mary, The Martian, even Star Trek of the science, the story itself is just asking you to suspend your belief, to accept that in this hour-and-a-half long movie, 2-hour movie, however long book, that you believe that this could happen. And that is why I will stand behind forever that sci-fi is just fantasy.